Senate Committee on Agriculture, Food Production, and Outdoor Resource will come to order. Kyle, please call the roll.
Senators Bean.
Here.
Black. Here. Bernsketter. Here. Brown. Here. Carter. Crawford. Here. McCreary.
Here.
Razor. Washington.
We have a quorum. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. For those here to testify on legislation, please speak into the microphone, introduce yourself, and address the comments to committee members. Please keep your comments relative to the legislation. Once your testimony concludes, the committee members will have an opportunity to ask questions. Please complete the witness appearance form on the table or online, and please silence your cell phones. With that, we're going to hear 2 bills today, and then we're going to have an executive section after that where we will exec out 3 bills. So first up, Senator Brown, if you're ready. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. For the record, Senator Justin Brown representing the 16th District. I'll be real short about this. Senate Bill 1019 closes the personal information of visitors who make a camping, lodging, or shelter reservation for Missouri State Park or State Historic Site unless the records are requested by the visitor or authorized for release by the visitor. This is a preventive measure to ensure that someone can't just sunshine the state park and find out where someone lives by attaining their home address. Thank you for today. I appreciate the hearing. Pretty easy.
Any questions?
I'm still in shock that I'm filing bills for DNR, but...
Senator McCreary.
So could you give me some examples of what you mean by this? I was trying to...
Okay, so if I go to Montauk, which is in my district, and I like get in a fight with somebody and like stomp them, then they can't like sunshine the park to get my address where I live to go like kill me.
So it's not... You're not trying to protect your park reservation information as much as when you make a reservation at one of our state's parks.
If there's an incident, related to park, it could be anything. It could be somebody getting, there's things stolen. It could be a fight, whatever. It's just so people can't sunshine you. It removes the ability for people to sunshine you to get your personal information, like where you live. I mean, I was using like a fight as an example, but that does happen.
Well, if there's a fight, though, we would want law enforcement to be able to track you down so charges could be pressed against you. So I'm assuming that the
Well, but law enforcement, why would they sunshine the park? They could go to the park and get that information. They could get your reservations. That's different. I don't want anybody being able to... I don't want you to be able to sunshine Montauk and see how many times I've been down there.
Well, I don't actually care. I'm trying to understand a real life scenario, what you're getting at with this bill.
Well, that's exactly what I just told you. So you can't get people's personal information if they hold a grudge against you, or they think you stole something from them. They can sunshine the park records and get where you live, and then like wait outside your door when you get home and maybe harm you or do something. It's happened.
Okay. All right, very good. Thank you.
Any other questions for the senator? Seeing none, anybody here testify in favor of Senate Bill 1019?
Chairman Bean, members of the committee, T.J. Graven with the Missouri Department of Natural Resources testifying in support of this bill. Thank you, Senator Brown, for filing it. This was a department legislative proposal. It's pretty straightforward. Would just close under sunshine law records of people who have made reservations in state parks. Basically, state park guests would protect their personally identifiable information. So it's a little bit perspective. It is motivated by just the general idea of wanting to protect our park guests' privacy. Because right now, the only thing that is a closed record under sunshine is a credit card number. So name, address, phone number, all those things associated with billing information. If somebody asked the department for them, we'd be obligated to produce it. We do get sunshine requests for information. We haven't had the scenario where somebody goes to somebody's house yet, but it seems like it's out there, and we'd rather be proactive on this, given that I've been unable to identify a compelling public interest in getting somebody's home address just because they park or camped in the state park. So we're a little prospective on this, but it's very straightforward. If law enforcement were involved, they work with our rangers and would not go through the sunshine process. If we have gotten sunshine requests as part of like court cases, custody battles, things like that. And those, we would also comply with those if it's a court order, a subpoena, or anything like that. It supersedes the closing of records. This is just so people can't more or less spam park records and get people's address and stuff.
Any questions for the witness? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Anybody here else in favor of Senate Bill 1019? Please come forward.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Gary Gates, the Executive Director for the Missouri Park and Recreation Association, here in support of Senate Bill 1019. We see this as an opportunity for private business to profit off of taxpayer funding. And, you know, if you would like, you can go out and get a new marketing list by subpoenaing the campgrounds. We don't think that's right. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for the witness? Thank you for testimony.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, my name is Kina Iman on behalf of Conservation Federation of Missouri. Kina Iman with Conservation Federation of Missouri. We'd like to go on record in support. Yeah, we feel like it's more of a privacy thing for campground guests. It could go south if you had maybe a stalker in the campground trying to find out where someone lives, or like Mr. Gates said, if they're trying to get that list of people that are camping to market different campground equipment, stuff like that. So,
Any questions, Senator Black?
Yeah, one question, Ms. Simon. Haven't I voted on a bill, I don't know whether it became law, since I've been here doing this, with records for utilities? Have we done that?
We're supposed to hear that today.
Okay, I thought we'd well, I think the House had passed at one time. Same thing, because of at least one time where I'm from, somebody trying to find their ex-wife went to our utility place to
Sunshine.
get that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I've killed too many brain cells since you were in the House, Senator, but I can't remember. Sounds right.
Any other questions for the witness? Seeing none, thank you for testimony.
Thank you, Kina.
In favor of Senate Bill 1019?
Good morning, Dawn Nicholas with Missouri Parks Association, and we want to go on record in support of this proposal.
Any questions for the witness?
Thank you, Don.
Seeing none, thank you for testimony. In favor of Senate Bill 1019? Any of those opposed to Senate Bill 1019? Anybody here for informational purposes only? Senator, you got any closing comments?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, member of the committees, for allowing me to present this bill.
Thank you, Senator. Next up, we have Senate Bill 1261. Senator Carter, are you ready to go?
Ready?
Please proceed.
Mr. Chair, committee members, I'm Senator Jill Carter, District 32, here with Senate Bill 1261. This bill is kind of a simple bill. This bill specifically says that ATVs can be used for agricultural use, that can be used for agricultural use shall be considered farm machinery and equipment for purposes of a sales tax exemption. Currently, side-by-sides qualify for sales tax exemption. This is a bill that some of my ag friends in our district brought to me saying, how come side-by-sides are sales tax exempt, but my little ATV isn't? And that simply is the root of the bill, just to make the sales tax for ATVs for farm use exemptable.
Thanks, Senator. Any questions for the senator? Senator Washington.
Good morning, Senator. Thanks for
morning.
bringing this. I do have a couple of questions. How are these particular vehicles considered now? Just regular vehicles, or how are they taxed now?
Yeah, so they're just regular tax on ATVs right now.
And then, so if we do this, how would it be enforced? Couldn't I go buy my teenage son's 6 ATVs, and I just happen to own farmland, but they really never use it for my farming business?
Well, currently right now, like a side-by-sides, you have to kind of declare them as farm use I mean, there's nobody policing that, no. But again, we're already doing it for side-by-sides. So like on my farm, we have ATVs, a couple of them just check cows and whatever. We're just trying to say if
Do you
side-by-sides.
use them for anything besides checking on the cows?
No,
Okay.
they just stay on the farm.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Seeing none, anybody here in support of, oh, you had another question? Sorry, Senator. Oh, I'm sorry. Senator, go ahead.
So I think this is a good idea. My question, though, is if it's specific enough for, like, the point of sale. So, because you're saying it's sales, you don't have to pay sales tax on it at point of sale. So then you would have to prove to the person you're buying it to that you were going to use it for any agricultural use. So,
Right, just like you do with the side-by-sides, right? You kind of declare, depending on where you purchase it especially, a lot of people will already have their farm use number with MFA or whatever else, right? So depending on where you purchase your ATV, that's
so you would
currently what
use,
happens.
Is there something that certifies that you own a farm or own agricultural land that you show a retailer? The ATV that we have on our farm, we just bought off of Facebook Marketplace, so this
Right.
I don't feel like this would apply. So I'm trying to understand if you bought a new one.
And that's what it is. It's sales tax, right? So it's not something that you're going to pay if you buy it off Facebook or something like that. So you're not paying a sales tax on that. So it is at a point of purchase.
So the retailers, if we were to pass this law, the retailers would know how to handle that kind of
Yes,
transaction.
like I said, they're already doing it for multiple things.
Okay. All right, great, thank you.
Senator, just real quick,
Yes.
when we buy something, I have to fill out a sales exempt form for agriculture purpose.
Okay.
So you have a checkbox, you checks, and then, I've never been audited for that, but if you do, then you have to prove, I'm assuming through like a 578 or something I have to prove, so.
And oftentimes, like if you go to MFA or some of these other Race Brothers or whatever, Farm and Home, Orchlands or whatever, they usually, if you've purchased things there before, they usually have those sales tax exempt status on you.
Any other questions? Anybody here to support Senate Bill 1261?
All right, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Ben Travelis with Missouri Farm Bureau here to go on record in support. We thank Senator Carter for bringing this legislation forward. Again, just the amount that farmers and ranchers use ATVs on their farms, we feel like this is a good bill. So with that, happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for the witness? Seeing none, thank you for testimony. Here in support of Senate Bill 1261.
Mr. Chairman, Shannon Cooper here today on behalf of the Missouri Cattlemen's Association. We just want to go on record in support of the legislation and assure you that our members would never use a side-by-side or an ATV for anything other than agriculture purposes. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for the witness? Thank you for testimony.
Thank you.
Anybody here else in favor of Senate Bill 1261?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Jacob Knable with the Missouri Corn Growers Association would like to go on the record in support of this legislation. Currently, we've heard it already that there's a lot of ATVs being used for agricultural and farming purposes out there, and just like to kind of catch those that are falling between the gaps right now for the sales tax exemption. Be happy to answer any questions you have.
Any questions for the witness? Seeing none, thank you for testimony. Anybody here else in favor of Senate Bill 1261? Anybody here not in favor of Senate Bill 1261? Anybody here for informational purposes only? Senator, would you like any closing comments?
Just thank you for your consideration, your time. Thank you.
That concludes the hearing on Senate Bill 1261. Bless you. I make a move that we move into executive session. I have a second. We are in executive session. First, the bill up is Senator Hough, Senate Bill 847 from last week dealing with vehicle registrations. I believe there was a substitute ending in .05C that was distributed yesterday electronically. Does anybody have any discussion on that? Hearing none, I would move we adopt the committee substitute for Senate Bill 847. Do I have a second? Have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor of adopting the substitute, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. Motion carries. I now move that committee substitute for Senate Committee Substitute Senate Bill 847, we vote out due pass. Do I have a second? I have a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Kyle, please call the roll.
Senators Bean,
Aye.
Black, Bernsketter, Brown, Carter, Crawford, McCreary, Razor, Washington.
By your vote of 8-0, the motion carries. Next up is the Senate bill, or second bill is Senate Bill 1054, sponsored by our Vice Chair, Senator Black, modifying the membership requirements for the State Fair Commission. I'll go ahead and move that we vote Senate Bill 1054 out due pass. Do I have a second? Any discussion? Hearing none, Kyle, please call the roll.
Senators Bean,
Aye.
Black, Bernsketter, Brown, Carter, Crawford, McCreary, Razor, Washington.
By your vote of 8-0, the motion carries. The last bill per vote is my Senate Bill 1298 relating to cotton trailers. I would move that Senate Bill 1298 vote out due pass. Do I have a second? Have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, Kyle, please call the roll.
Senators Bean,
Aye.
Black, Bernsketter, Brown, Carter, Crawford, McCreary, Razor, Washington.
By your vote of 9-0, the motion carries. I now move that we exit executive session. Do I have a second? Second. I have a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. Ayes have it. We're out of executive session. No further business coming before the committee. I move that we adjourn. Do I have a second? Second. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, no. Ayes have it. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.